162 years ago this month, President Abraham Lincoln authorized the United States Army to recruit black soldiers under a new banner, the U.S. Colored Troops. Now, the heroism those men displayed in battle has been celebrated far and wide.
You probably remember Hollywood movies like Glory or Services of Remembrance in rural churches and small towns. Well, that's because thousands of black men from Delmarva answered that call. Answering that call with us this afternoon, of course, is Jim Duffy of Secrets of the Eastern Shore fame, diving back into the story of that recruitment.
Yeah, and it is a tale with some controversy, isn't it? Rules were broken, orders were dismissed.
It is. This is a story about two brave, bold men who were regarded as half crazy in their day.
Okay.
The one who eventually came to Delmarva, William Birney, was born in 1890, but he got his bold and brave streak from his father, who was born in Kentucky in the late 1700s. He grew up in a slave-owning family, eventually owned a plantation, became a lawyer. A lot of things happened in his life. Long story short, he had a conversion experience and became very opposed to slavery. He became an abolitionist. So he's in Kentucky. He tries to do a bunch of different things. He tries to call a convention of people, like-minded people, and like 7 people show up. So that's a failure. He moves across the river to Cincinnati, starts up an abolitionist newspaper to try and spread the word. A lot of people there don't like him very much, and they destroy his press, break into it, kind of try and burn his building. They threaten his house and everything else. So that doesn't work very well. He gets involved in what we would think of today as a third party, you know, like the Libertarians or the Greens or something like that. And he ends up running for president as a member of the Liberty Party in 1840, and he gets 0.2% of the vote. He dies in 1857, and it looks like his life is a failure, right? Slavery's still going, all his efforts have come to naught. Except that there's a couple of things. The Liberty Party was a big part of kind of morphing into, after it died, all the people went into this newfangled thing called the Republican Party, which nominated Abraham Lincoln to be president. And the Civil War begins, and his son, William, whose whole formative experiences have been living under these threats of people and this danger and everything like that. He joins the Union Army, becomes a general, and in 1863, Abraham Lincoln sends him to our area in the Chesapeake Bay to recruit black soldiers for this newly formed U.S. Colored Troops group. It's super complicated. Maryland is a slave state, but also a Union state. Abraham Lincoln needs to keep everybody happy in Maryland, including the slave owners, so he sets all these intricate rules for what Birney can do. He can only recruit free blacks. If a slave owner comes and discovers that he accidentally enlisted a slave, he's got to give him back. All these rules. Wow. In the military, the idea is to follow orders, right? That's generally the rule. We don't like it when somebody decides, no, I don't like this order, I'm going to do something else. William Birney is the exception to that rule because he behaved like a bull in a china shop. He ignored all of those rules, and he took a steamboat and he went to Easton and Centerville and Kent Island and Oxford, and he would send his black soldiers out into the countryside to communicate with slaves and tell them that they could enlist. At one point, one place, he told all the slaves that they were free, even though slavery was legal in Maryland. He just total bull in a china shop. At one point, Lincoln pulled him back and said, you have to stop doing all of this stuff, and then kind of brought him into the woodshed and talked to him, and he went back out. And Birney just kept doing what he was doing, recruiting. There's one beautiful scene in Oxford where he has recruited 200 black soldiers. They're all gathered there on the Strand at the pier, and they're all on the boat, and all the slave owners are on the shore watching this boat pull away, and all the black men start waving their hats, and they break into a old spiritual about Exodus and freedom from bondage and everything like that. Historians generally agree that William Birney's bull in the china shop act on the Eastern Shore kind of was one of the last things that signaled the end of slavery in Maryland, that he was a part of saying this is over. And Maryland adopted a new constitution at the end of the year that outlawed slavery, went into effect on January 1st, 1864. Wow. So that guy who looked like a failure
was not.
Ended up Abraham Lincoln, William Birney,
My
U.S. colored troops.
goodness.
Memorial Day's coming up. 8,700 U.S. colored troops came from our Delmarva Peninsula, and 1 in 5 of them did not come home. So, so that's something to think about here in May as Memorial Day approaches.
Interesting story, indeed. Wow, didn't know that. Jim Duffy, Secrets of the Eastern Shore. Thank you.
Amazing every time. Thank you, Jim.